And in 5,
sticker badge.
Why is it
4,
so late today?
3, 2, 1. Roll the open.
Hello and welcome to Weekend Doubles Kentucky Derby Oaks coverage. Friday Oaks. I'm Gerald. That's Nick. How you doing, Nick?
I'm stressed out over here. Just stressed out.
Well, it's here. Yeah, I've got a lot of bets to get in for tomorrow, but right now we're going to concentrate on the Kentucky Oaks. Had a little bit of rain, so it's kind of changing things as far as who we like, who we don't like. What's your feeling about the race and the conditions?
Conditions it rained right after the last dirt race. Then they went to the turf and now they're back on the dirt. It looks like it's labeled as sloppy, and they don't normally label it sloppy unless it's bad. So they sealed it and everything. So you got to assume that it's got quite a bit of rain in it, a lot of water sitting. I'm guessing. I haven't seen the actual track recently. They keep showing the paddock. So I'm interested if this race is going to just run 1, 2, 3 and just kind of merry-go-round, and whoever gets the lead kind of takes the lead and goes. But it hasn't been playing that way all day. All day, the track's been playing very fair. So it is going to be interesting. And because we don't know what is going to happen, because it's the first race off of it, it does give you a little bit of pause to say, well, we can kind of we're going to have to make a guess, and we're going to have to gamble. And you're gambling with 13 horses. In a interesting spot here. So it's a little bit off, a little bit weird, and so it's going to be one where I'm going to say let's throw the favorite out and try to beat it. But I also say that when we're doing 5 horses and it's sunny at Santa Anita, so I guess not much different for me is the grand scheme of it all.
Well, I like the rain in this race. I'm trying to beat the favorite, the heavy favorite, and I think you want to be up front in this race. I think if you're running in mid-pack or in the back and you don't like mud, it's a problem. So I'm all for the rain in this race. I don't want it for the Derby, but it's a field of 13. There was one scratch. I'm going to go over the field real quick. The 1 is Early On. Edgar Zayas is riding for Saffie Joseph Jr. He's 43 to 1. The 2 is Simply Joking. Florent Giroux rides for D. Whitworth Beckman. The 3 is Fondly at 23 to 1. Irad's aboard. You know my guy Irad. I love Irad. The 4 is Drexel Hill at 42 to 1. Ben Curtis rides for another D. Whitworth Beckman entry. The 5 is Quick Kick at 42 to 1. Umberto Rispoli rides for Tom Amos. The 6 is Ballerina Dioro, and I like this one a little bit. Flavian rides for Chad Brown. This one's currently 10 to 1. The 7 is La Cara at 8 to 1. Dylan Davis rides for Mark Cassie. The 5G is a scratch. The 9 is Tenma. This is the Bob Baffert entry with Juan Hernandez aboard, currently 7 to 1. The 10 is Take Charge Milady, 12 to 1. Brian Hernandez is aboard for Kenny McPeak. The 11 is Good Cheer, the heavy favorite, taking money at 8 to 5. Luis Saez rides for Brad Cox. The 12 is Anna's Promise at 25 to 1. Junior Alvarado is aboard for Carlos David. The 13 is Bless the Broken at 16 to 1. Johnny V rides for William Walden. And the 14, Quiet Side, currently 7 to 1. Jose Ortiz rides for John Alexander Ortiz. That's the field. 13. Yeah, like I was saying, I'm looking at some front runners that maybe have some stay power here. I really love Ballerina Dioro with Flavien Prat. Flavien's really good in some big races like this. I expect this one to be real close to the lead, if not on the lead. But we'll see. What do you think?
I was going to ask you where you're seeing. Why do you think she's going to be on the lead? Because
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Ballerina Diora is probably the best of. So I like 1, 6, and 12. I totally screwed up. I had
Gotcha.
part of my screen covered.
Yep, no worries.
But yeah, Ballerina Diora is a presser, but I like Ballerina Diora's closing speed, and I think this one's going to be a little bit closer than normal. Normally 8th and 9th
Yep.
early, but I think this one's going to be a little bit closer because of the conditions, and I like the closing kick on this one. The one from the front that I like is the 12, Anna's Promise. I think if there is one that goes gate to wire, I think that's Anna's Promise. I was getting them mixed up
Yep.
a little bit, but I think Anna's Promise is one that you could use in your tries or your supers, 25 to 1. The other one I think you could use at a big price is the one early on. I think that one will be close as well.
Yep.
But we'll see. I mean, the conditions are really throwing this thing out of whack.
Yeah, completely agree. I think I'm gonna. I mean, you and I are kind of on the same page on this. Is that I think you want to be up front, and I think that is where a lot of these horses are going to go. And before we came on, I was telling you that Norm Cassie was on NBC and saying that if you're in front of Lucara, you're going too fast. So it makes me think and know, because it's the only way she can win, is that Lucara is going to go. And watching that Ashland again, she just looks like, she ran well, I'm going to give you the time form number because that's what I have up here, but she ran a 1:59 time form, which is just outrageously fast. And I think that's going to be too fast for her here. So she's going to go slower than that because they've just told everybody they're going to go so fast. And so if she just runs what she did at Tampa, or if she runs something similar to what she ran back at Saratoga when she broke her maiden, which, a one-turn race, but if she can get in the front and just keep going, she feels like the one that's going to get there. And Dylan Davis is a pretty aggressive rider, and he's just gonna send it. And then I'm kind of there with that same thing with Simply Joking. I think Simply Joking coming, I think I mentioned this a second ago, was that fantasy race at Oaklawn back on March 29th. Her and Quiet Side, the 14, the 2 and the 14 just went at it, and they just ran and just kept going. Simply Joking ran second and beat the next runner by 8 3/4 length. So they just flew. And I think both of those are really good. I actually wanted Simply Joking out of that race after I watched it. And now I'm getting both of them at, what's currently 7 to 1 and 7 to 1. So both are a big enough price that they feel like they should be there at the end. And then the other one that I was landing on was the other 7 to 1. So I got a 2 7 to 1, 3 7 to 1s, and an 8 to 1. The 9 Tenma, which is the Baffert that had a bad race according to her speed figures, where she went from a pretty high speed figure. Let me pull up the buyer because that's the one that people know. She ran a 92 at the La Virginis back in February, came back in April and ran a 75, but won by 2 1/4. So she wasn't beating anybody in that race. However, I do feel like if she just goes back to what she was running before, she fits entirely well here. And Baffert had said she wasn't really cranked, as he said about Citizen Bull. So he's now put some works in her. She got that race in her. Feels like if she goes to the front with Juan Hernandez, 279.14, I'm going to box him up in an exacta and call him home. I got him for $20, a $20 exacta with a 279.14.
Yeah, I'm totally playing against Good Cheer. I know this is chancy, but I'm going for some serious value. I'm going to use the 1, 6, and 12, and hope things kind of blow up. Maybe the ones up front kind of take charge of this. Mike Stone, I see you in the comments. He's all over the 10. Takes charge of Milady. Kenny McPeak entry. Yeah, you can't go wrong there. Currently at a 12 to 1. I like that. That'd be a good money back special right there, actually. And Brian Hernandez had so much luck last year in this race and the Derby. Why not?
Yep.
Looks like they are on the track doing a quick warm up. We still got about 6 minutes to the race.
A little bit there.
Yeah.
I will say Eddie Olczyk, the former hockey player, current NBC gambling expert, is on the 13 here. He made a bit of a case for that I kind of bought into. Ran on that sloppy track at the Rachel Alexander against Good Cheer and lost by not very much, and now coming back and now getting what looks to be over 20 to 1, currently 16 to 1, but the odds and like the DRF projectors put her at 38 to 1. She's coming out of Turfway, which they call it the synthetic pop, or poly pop, where you run on a synthetic track and then back to dirt, and you get a improved speed figure. And if she runs the speed figure she ran at Turfway, she fits right here. She may be one of the fastest ones. So I'm not buying that Bourbonnette Oaks number. I'm going to put her back at that 100 ish that she ran on time form, but she kind of fits. And if you play her underneath, there's a real excuse for her to run up second and third for sure.
And that was the 13 you said, right?
The 13, yeah.
Yeah,
Plus
plus
the
the broken. Yeah, and I think that race was 1 mile and 70 yards, if I remember correctly. So a little bit more distance here may be the trick there.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we are live tomorrow from the Sievers residence, and I'm calling it the weekend double live derby watch party, if that's okay with you.
That works.
Join us tomorrow at 3:30. We'll be on for about 30 minutes before the race, talk a little bit about the race. We'll talk to some of the fans, some of the guests at the party. We'll do a little walkover of our own, and we'll put the link in the chat tomorrow so that if you want to join us in the conversation, you can. But yeah, tomorrow starting at 3:30 Pacific time, we will be live right here on YouTube. We use the track feed, so if you happen to be watching the Oaks today at home on one of your subscribers, cable subscribers, YouTube TV, whatever, we use the track video, and this track video is usually at least 10 seconds faster than any of the networks, sometimes up to 20 or even 30 seconds faster. So if you gotta know, this is the place you want to be. We're gonna be there throughout the race and a little bit after the race to kind of analyze what happened. But we're excited. We've been here all year since September, covering most of the preps. It's been fun. I can't believe it's already here.
Yeah, it's really something else, and it's interesting to see the Oaks especially, because it's not the race that is the Derby, right? Everybody points to the Derby, they talk about the Derby, whereas a lot of these fillies in the Oaks, they come back and they run one race and they hit second and they just kind of come here. So it's a little bit more wide open, a lot less raced. The horses, the Oaks have significantly fewer races most of the time. Some of them have lots of races, but it is a fun race. It's never, I don't know. Torpedo Anna won it last year. There's been some good winners. There's also been some fluky winners, I guess, kind of like the Derby. So it's a good race. It's a fun, and you very rarely do you get 13 horses on the field, so it makes it for good prices normally. So especially if you're against Good Shear like we are, who's currently sitting at 3-2, it feels like a good time to take a shot at almost anybody else.
Yeah, I agree, and you're right. It's normally 10 or 11 in this field. Normally, I do like the big field. I think it was one scratch, actually 13. But I don't follow the Phillies as much as you do, so I'm kind of taking a shot against Good Cheer, and we kind of talked about it off the air, and this just felt like one of those races that we could do that with the rain coming in the last hour. We're hoping the off track maybe throws off the ones behind the leaders, and maybe the leaders get away on this one. So we'll see what happens. They're moving towards the gate here in a minute or so. It looks like we're still 2 minutes out, but again, we will be on tomorrow starting at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. We'll have a live Derby watch party, and we'll be live talking a little bit about the race. We'll give our opinions. Well, I mean, we have a minute right now. Is there anyone that you like right now?
I've had some real difficulty with the Derby this year. My top pick was Tapan Street, who scratched out last Saturday, so didn't even get drawn in. And then I was kind of falling for Grande. I kind of bought into him improving, and then he scratched this morning. So I've kind of whiffed and waffed and kind of had some, weak opinions. I like the way that Final Gambit, the 3, is coming in to the Derby. But he never ran on dirt, so that's a bit scary, and it based on the double prices, he looks like he's going to be a much shorter price than I wanted on him. Tistastic coming out of the Louisiana Derby looks like he should be good, but if there's not as much speed as I thought there was going to be, maybe he can't close the way I wanted to. And Chunk of Gold, both also out of that Louisiana Derby, kind of the same thing. So those were the three I was kind of looking at, and I kind of now I'm moving a little bit more towards Citizen Bull, thinking that maybe he just gets to the lead and goes. But now I've just given you 4 horses in a 18 horse field, so don't have a real strong opinion quite yet.
Well, I'm gonna try and beat journalism. He's good, but he's been in small fields, and I think going up against 19 other horses is going to be a lot different for him. He's gonna run mid-pack-ish, and some people think he might even be farther back. I see him getting when they break. I see him getting kind of squished, maybe getting a little confused, and I think the traffic is going to be something new for him. I just don't think he's going to handle it well. So I'm playing against him. I'm starting to like Publisher a little bit more. You know, I love Irad. And I like the way Publisher finished the last time. I also, underneath, I'm looking for some long shots. I still like Chunk of Gold. I do like Final Gambit, but Final Gambit's odds are starting to come down quite a bit. There was another one that I was starting to like as a long shot, but I'd say right now my biggest long shot is probably Chunk of Gold. I don't think the post is going to be a problem. That one ruined our trifecta in 2 months ago, and I keep going back to that one. This one's going to save us, I think. So We'll see. But Publisher's kind of who I'm leaning on right now, but I'm sure that'll change tomorrow when I take a closer look tonight. And if it's raining more. Looks like they're getting ready to go in the gate. So I'm going to turn the volume up. You can keep talking, but I'm going to turn the volume up on the track so we don't miss anything. And then I'll go full screen when they get in.
Sounds good. Yeah, I won't have a whole lot to add to what we've said. I'm kind of moving more and more towards Lucara, but now with 0 minutes to post, I don't really want to start throwing win bets on her. But I kind of want.
And the fillies have reached the starting gate. It's post time.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm tempted to throw a $200 win bet on the 7, but I don't know if I'm going to do that quite yet. But now
okay.
I just trifecta, so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm on the 27914 exacta box, and that's all I'm doing. I'm gonna take my hands away from the mouse now.
And I'm playing against the heavy favorite here. I'm going 1, 6, and 12, looking for the front runners to possibly steal this with my one. I think Ballerina Dioro is the only one that isn't.
Bless the broken and quiet side.
I'm going to turn this up now. Good luck, everybody.
And it was a good start, too. Tenma racing for the lead, and Lucara sent hard out of there. And its promise is showing speed. Simply Joking down toward the inside, backs off that early pace. Quiet Side tries to tuck in down toward the rail as they hit the first turn. Lucara, Tenma going head-to-head for the lead. Lucara's down inside with a narrow lead. There's 7 furlongs to go. Tenma's pressing from second. And its promise just off the pace, racing third. Simply Joking, reserved at the inside fourth. Quiet Side on the far outside is 5th. Fondly is down inside 6th. Early on in between 7th. Good Cheer is right at mid-pack. She's 8th. 3 wide, 5 lengths off the lead down the backstretch run. Bless the Broken is running along at 9th. Ballerina Doro's in some traffic, racing 10th. Quick Kick. Farther, closer to the pace today, down toward the inside, running 3rd to last. Then it's Take Charge Milady. Drexel Hills at the back. Drexel Hills 10 lengths off the lead after a half mile and a solid 46 and 3/5 seconds. They're on the far turn. Lucara's the leader. Tenma's pressing hard. Tenma's just a neck behind with 3 furlongs to go. Quick Kick is wide, but starting to move up, and Good Cheer is rallying now. Here comes Good Cheer on the far outside. She's coming on 5 or 6 wide. She's under a drive as they hit the top of the stretch. Lucara heads for home in front. Tenuous lead. Tenma trying to get by. Good Cheer continues a sustained rally, and Bless the Broken is coming, and Drexel Hill is too. There's a 16th to catch Good Cheer. She's clear by 2.5. Drexel Hill runs up into second. Bless the Broken is third, but she's the toast of Kentucky. Good Cheer wins the Oaks by nearly 3. Drexel Hill was second, Bless the Broken was third, and Tenma was fourth.
They set that up way too well for her. That 4-13 came from way back.
Good Cheer stays in the clear, and she makes her move on the far turn, and the leaders started to come back to the pack. Even the horses that were making first run just don't have any punch, including Quick Kick on the outside. You see Lakara right there. You see some of the others that are in the mix, and here comes Good Cheer. She takes the lead. She seals the deal. She draws off, and then you get a couple of closers rounding out the try here, and Drexel Hill and Bless the Broken. Tenma, of the horses that showed early speed, does hang on for fourth, but in the end, Good Cheer, your Longines Kentucky Oaks winner, a perfect 7-4-7.
Well, she was good. And we had
Yeah.
some long shots in second and third. Bless the Broken finished a nice third there. Drexel Hill was 32 to 1.
Yep. Two of the longer shots on the board. Well, some of the long shots, not the longest.
Yeah,
But
32
the
to
4 was
1.
one of the long, yeah.
And then Bless the Broken 17
17
to 1. So
yeah.
that'll still play good even with Good Cheer. That's what we were kind of looking for with some long shots. We were just hoping that Good Cheer was going to be, find some trouble and maybe finish third. That's
Yep.
what I was
I mean,
hoping for in my exacta.
That exacta is going to pay $106 for $2. So the try is going to pay probably for two, probably like 1,000, 1,200 would be my guess. But Mark says in the comments here that she was huge, 3 wide all the way on the back stretch and 5 wide coming home. She definitely covered all the ground and then pulled away from him. She's by far the best. Yeah, she's just that good.
And then the track looks like it's draining pretty good. There wasn't a whole lot of mud puddles, that you would see when they come through there, and so maybe it didn't play a big a part as I was hoping, because this track just drains so well. But I wish we could hear. But
yeah, they don't. That's the NBC feed. Yeah, it's only on NBC. Yeah, I mean the way that race was ran, it kind of felt like what we had talked about, except they went 22 and 46 and 111. Had they gone 23, 48 and 112, I think the 7 and 9 can hold on there. But the way that the 4 and 13 came flying late, and I mean the 9 held on, but you don't see the 7 anywhere, you don't see the 2 anywhere, you don't see the 14 anywhere, who are all kind of up on that lead. So it definitely set up for this type of run. And Good Cheer was, he said mid-pack on his second time through. So definitely feels like it just set up for this type of run where they just went too fast and nobody really was able to hang on.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, Good Cheer wins. Drexel Hill second. Bless the Broken, Tenma, and Anna's Promise close out the Super High Five. Again, we will be here live tomorrow, starting at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time for about a half hour's worth of talk, opinions about the Kentucky Derby. We'll put the link in the comments when we first go live, and if you want to join in, we can put you in here live. All you need is a camera and a microphone. So we would love to hear your opinions. Looking forward to the party, Nick, tomorrow. Any thoughts on this race or tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I hope I'm better than I was today, because I'm gonna have to ask my wife to borrow some money, because I decided to play too much on the Oaks Day for some reason when I had no real opinions other than, oh, it was going to be very chalky, and it was very chalky, and I was still wrong. So somehow I knew all the chalk was going to win, and then I still lost. So tomorrow I will not fire quite so much, or maybe I'll fire double. How about that? We'll do twice as much tomorrow.
That seems to be what we do. When we lose one day, we just throw more in the next.
But I would say, in all seriousness, the card tomorrow is outstanding. It is one of the best cards of the year every year, and this year seems like it's better than normal. I mean, you start in the 4th race with the Knicks Go, and then you get after that graded stakes, I think 8 in a row. After that, it would be 5 through 12, so however many that is, 8 races in a row. So it's going to be a day of a great racing.
Yeah, and maybe there's a chance we may do a couple of the undercards depending on what time I get over to your place. So we'll see. But for right now, we're scheduled for 3:30 p.m. Pacific time for about a half hour's worth before the Kentucky Derby, and then I'll try and get there earlier so we can catch maybe the two before the Derby. All right. Well,
And
that's
I'll
it.
be here.
That's it for Weekend Double. Thanks for joining in. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments. I hope you won some money here in this race. We'll be here again for tomorrow for the Derby, and then for any of the big races this year. We're usually on here. We covered almost all the preps. This is the first time you've seen us. We're amateurs, but we love horse racing, and we just want to give someone else another place to watch and contribute to horse racing. So that's why we're here on YouTube. So thank you again for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow, I hope. Goodbye, everybody.